Hello, world. My next guest is as data-driven can come, with a passion for helping organizations thrive. Please welcome Melinda Cormier, VP of Growth Marketing at LumApps to the show. Melinda, are you ready to get radically transparent with me?
Yes, let's do it.
Could you give us a brief look at your professional journey and how you actually found yourself as VP of Growth Marketing over at LumApps?
Yeah, absolutely. So first, thanks for having me. It's great to be here. So really kind of my first foray into the marketing world was my first job right out of college. I was a marketing assistant at a SolidWorks reseller in New Hampshire. Great experience. I was there for about 2 years. Did a lot of work with the website, content building, social media, kind of really getting my feet wet into the world of marketing. And then from there, I moved on to take on a marketing communications role. Actually at a manufacturing company, which was a very large shift. I realized pretty quickly that manufacturing was not for me, like not the best fit. They produced pressure transducers, which everyone's like, what? Like it was for HVAC and like industrial mechanical engineering applications. So kind of like a very strange shift. But that did give me the opportunity to really dive into demand generation. And that's really where my passion started to come out. So from there, I moved into a role at a company called Ektron. They're a web CMS company that got by Episerver, and then Episerver later acquired Optimizely. So everyone knows the Optimizely name. And really the writing was on the wall for me when Ektron was about to get acquired. So I moved on from there to a company called Nuxio. They were a French-founded tech startup based in Brooklyn. So that was my first full-time remote role. Great experience. I think I was maybe like the 56th employee there. So very kind of scale up growth mode. And I was there with them up until they were acquired last year by Highland Software. So very successful exit. And then now I'm over at LumApps, where I head up growth marketing.
I love it. Quick, in one elevator pitch, one sentence, LumApps, what's the value you bring to your customers?
Yeah, so we are an employee experience platform where we allow employers to engage, enable, and empower their employees with personalized communications, regardless of who they are, where they live. They can feel like they have community purpose and they're part of that culture within their company.
That can't sound more relevant of a platform to be using in the world we live in today. We're going to get into it, but wow. So let's get into it, right? Let's get radically transparent. In that world, right, of personalization, humanization, demand gen, which is no pressure, right? All things go great in the demand gen world and you're glorified as a hero. All things go wrong. And it's like the Hunger Games in that department. So talk to me a little bit. What's keeping you up at night professional these days?
Yeah, so probably like any other demand gen professional, it's pipeline. You're always looking at pipeline. But for us, there's kind of the two components of pipeline. There's one, how much are we producing? Where is it coming from? And then for me and my team, it's how efficient are we at actually generating that pipeline? So that pipeline to spend ratio is incredibly important because you might generate pipeline, but how much is it costing you in marketing to generate that pipeline? So all of our metrics that we measure really kind of boil down to what's that pipeline to spend ratio. So for every $1 of marketing, how much pipeline generation are we getting out of it? So we're always striving to do better and to do more of that. So we're efficient and we're the heroes at the end of the day, but we've come a long way and we're doing some really cool stuff.
What's funny is so many marketers, right? If you look at someone's LinkedIn profile, if you're in the marketing world, it's a data-driven marketer. But I think what you just shared just really proves that, right? Your money is where your mouth is on your LinkedIn profile, because that's 100% spot on, right? The pipeline spend ratio. And especially, right, there's so much economic uncertainty right now, today, as we speak. And I think generating revenue, right, that pipeline spend ratio couldn't be more important. And it's really what it's all about when it comes to demand gen. However, I'm curious to understand, right, in this climate, especially, how are you handling, I'll call them the ever-changing challenges, right? And I think 2021, 2020, even 2020, it's like surprise after surprise. How are you handling those ever-changing demands?
Yeah. So for me, there's kind of really two big components of that. One, there's the data side of it, of like, what's the data telling us? Not just, how many leads, conversion rates, but the kind of more the qualitative stuff.
Okay.
So what types of conversations are SDRs and BDRs having? What do those discovery calls look like? How many of those are moving through demo to what stage in the pipeline? What types of organizations are coming to our site and why? Like what's attracting EDU versus technology versus retail? Like what are those challenges that those individual organizations or industries are having now that they maybe weren't having 2-3 years ago? So there's all the data and looking at all that and trying to figure out the why. And that why kind of ties into the psychology behind marketing. So putting your ICP hat on of like, okay, I'm trying to talk to this persona. What is their day-to-day like? Like what challenges are they trying to solve for? And not just, within their business, but within their career. So we kind of take a holistic approach to how we market to someone and think about their journey through not only just buying a new technology platform, but like their day-to-day and what their career plan looks like. How can we not only, help them along and buy our platform, but then also take them through their journey so that, they're the ones who brought in a new technology or a solution or a strategy that then helps their career grow and kind of succeed further along.
I think that's so interesting when you're talking about your ICP and in terms of, their career and looking at it through that prism, because you gain so much more perspective, right? And going back to what you shared about personalization and getting, human, right? Being human to human marketers, if you will. I hate that phrase, but it's so true. You're really getting to know somebody at their core. It leads me nicely into my next question, right? Because marketing really today requires an uber diversified, right? Model to succeed. I mean, we're doing all sorts of things at all different times to tell the right story and the right message to the right person. And recently, I know that you've diversified, if you will, a bit across social media. And we actually spoke a little bit about it, but you had some really kind of shocking, maybe not shocking, but maybe we'll call it interesting. Maybe you can give it a better word. But in regards to Facebook, and I was curious to understand, because we all, as B2B marketers, know like LinkedIn is kind of like the holy grail of B2B marketing and lead gen. So here comes Facebook. Can you walk us through kind of what sparked you to try this, what you found, what you learned, and maybe kind of, I don't know, any insights that you'd pass along to any other B2B marketer looking at Facebook as a maybe?
Yeah. So when I joined LumApps last year, the digital team was primarily focused on kind of paid media. So your Googles, your Bing, and then some Facebook. Google, Bing, they sort of made sense. I was like, yep, okay, paid search, some display. Like I get those. Yep, it works. But Facebook, I was like, talk to me about Facebook. Why Facebook? And they basically had like a really good outline of why they did it. And a couple of really cool reasons. One, our competitors aren't advertising there. Like really, like none of them.
And it seems
like,
so basic,
no.
right?
Like,
it's such a basic thing, but it's so simple.
Yeah. So basically from like a market share perspective of like what we're bidding against, it's just us. Like our competitors are not there, which is great for us. So one, perfect. Two, the platform for Facebook is actually a lot more affordable when you build out your ads than LinkedIn. So you can have very granular targeting that looks down to like your ICP. You can do, customer lookalikes. You can do intent data, and it builds it out in a very affordable way, which LinkedIn doesn't really give you that affordability. And who we talk to. So for us, HR and internal comms are two of our primary people that we talk to, and they're very active on Facebook. Like they spend their time, they're looking through their news feed. And when our ads pop up, it's not just a random technology ad. It's not, we really think about what in their day-to-day do they care about. So what we promote out there are checklists and guides that are designed to help them do their job better. The things that make it easier for them to go, okay, we just went remote, or, we need to think about what the employee experience means. What are the 8 things I need to think about this quarter? And that's kind of how we approach it. So we give them tactile things that can actionably take away from their registration and go act on it. So it just works really well. And the data is mind blowing. Like I was shocked that Facebook was outperforming LinkedIn. Like it didn't make any sense to me that from a B2B perspective, Facebook was working, but the data wasn't lying.
Right.
So for North America, traffic conversion is just over 16%, right? In the UK, it's over 20%. The next closest is paid search, which is about 4% for North America. So the fact that our paid social channel, specifically Facebook, is so far outperforming from a conversion perspective that it's mind blowing. And not only just any leads, like we're getting some really good ICP leads converting, and they're moving their way into pipeline, which is just, that's what we're aiming for. So,
I think that's incredible. A few things, right? It's like cost, agile, but also I love right, our competitors aren't doing it. And I'm just going back to that because there's so oftentimes, I think as marketing leaders, we come together in our room with our teams and, let's do a brainstorm, and we're really trying to think, maybe reinvent the wheel. And it's literally comes down to sometimes the most basic of questions. So with that, what's one thing you wish you knew a year ago? Besides the Facebook high conversion rate, what's one thing you wish you knew a year ago that if you had known today would have actually helped you succeed, tenfold in your role?
So for me, it's kind of like that one-liner of everyone defines success differently, and even has their own kind of view of what they should be doing and how that affects their performance, their targeting, their whatever they're doing. But getting everyone on that same page is really difficult because it's cross-culture. You've got new hires, you've got people leaving. One team says we're successful when we have 30 calls a day. It might be the SDR team. Another team might say we're successful when we have 50% webinar attendance. So how people define and think about their success varies so differently that at the end of the day, it's always, okay, that's part of it, but like, what's the end goal? What are we all trying to strive towards? That 40% attendance rate, that 30 calls a day gets us to that same place.
Yeah, the vision. It's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I stand there with you on that. So listen, again, I mentioned earlier on, if you do your due diligence and you're looking up kind of what you've been writing, where you've been, not to be a stalker, right? I know you were at SaaStr in Spain, but you really have a lot of quality perspective, I think, when it comes to demand gen. I'm curious, right? I'm looking up to you. I'm seeing, these brilliant ideas coming out of what the LumApps team are doing. Where do you personally go as a VP of growth to stay up to date on the industry? What are you reading, or where are you getting inspired?
Yeah. So conferences like SaaStr are a great place. Any type of high growth conference is an amazing opportunity to network with other individuals that are coming up kind of through the ranks or that have seen success and you're trying to emulate it because you're in a similar situation. And then specific to LumApps, because we have very specific kind of an ICP for HR executive is a phenomenal resource, really just anyone in HR too. They talk about industry trends, what's happening in the market. Reworked is another phenomenal publication that really talks about the employee experience. On the communication side, Reagan, they're a great publication for anything corporate comms, internal comms, very, very knowledgeable with a lot of really good community. And then anything market related, I love analysts, so like the Gartner, Forrester, IDC. Their research is fantastic. It's readily available, and they're just really insightful.
Thank you for sharing that. I think we'll all be bookmarking a lot of sites of what you just shared. So now onto my last question, my favorite question, right? We're about to humanize the show if we want to kind of take it back full circle. Melinda, can you share with us one thing about yourself that we actually can't learn from your digital footprint or on LinkedIn?
Ooh, yeah. So you may or may not figure out at some point that I'm a Mini Cooper enthusiast. I think there's an article somewhere that like I talk about the fact that I own a Mini Cooper, but I'm actually one of the founding members of an event called Minis Take Vermont.
What?
So it's usually, it's like a 2 to 3 day event that we host every year in Vermont, where we kind of post out there to our mini community and people from basically all over the Northeast. We've had, I think 2 years ago, we had 17 different states and people from Canada with like 100 and some odd Mini Coopers all conjoining in one place. And we run rallies, we do dinners and lunches together. It's a whole thing. It's a whole big like rallying community event.
It reminds me when Harley Davidson first started, right? They had it kind of, is it like similar, like the Mini Cooper gang getting everybody together, and it's kind of like that.
Yeah, it's like like yeah, like if you think of like Jeep people, like Jeep people wave at other people, like minis wave at other minis, like you park next to other minis. There's Facebook groups all over the place. You get together and like run rallies together and have dinner. Like it's a full community of really unique individual people that you get to know them, not just because they drive the same car, but they're just unique and fun. And they enjoy driving, and it's a lot of fun.
That's a fantastic segmentation. The next time I am it's in Vermont, you said?
It is in Vermont.
The next time, when is Vermont?
So it's usually the end of September.
So if I have to be in Vermont end of September, remind me to rent a Mini Cooper so that I can attend, because that sounds like a fantastic way to meet people.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Melinda, thank you so much. Last question of the show. If anybody wants to learn more about LumApps, talk demand gen, or meet you up in Vermont with their Mini Cooper, where is the best place to connect with you?
Yeah. So lumapps.com. Great site. And then feel free to find me on LinkedIn. I'm active there. It's a great way to get a hold of me.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Jen.
Thanks for tuning in to the Radically Transparent podcast, brought to you by Oktopost, the only social media management and employee advocacy platform architected for B2B. I'm Jennifer Gutman, your host and director of social strategy here at Oktopost. And if you love today's show, we'd love if you subscribe, rate, and give a raving review wherever you get your podcasts. For more discussion on B2B social media marketing, be sure to follow Oktopost on LinkedIn. And of course, to gain access to all our free social media marketing and employee advocacy resources, head on over to our website, www.oktopost.com. Until next time.